Hey guys, the Fight Bananas podcast is supported by Daniel Martinez, the law offices of Daniel Martinez. I solve problems. Guys, give him a call at any time at 877-5-RIGHTS. That's 877-5-RIGHTS. Or check out the website at martinez.law. Daniel Martinez, the law offices of Daniel Martinez, in your corner. 877-5-RIGHTS. Also, check out Fusion CBD products. Check out the website at fusioncbdproducts.com. Guys, you know I drink the waters. 6-pack for $19.50. It's an incredible deal. Also, lately, I've been using the CBD Instant Rub. There's a relief rub and also a CBD cream and muscle for joint pain. Guys, make sure you go to fusioncbdproducts.com right now. Hit them up on Instagram at fusioncbd and check out the website at fusioncbdproducts.com. Is up, guys. Hello, world. Dave Van Auken, once again, back again on the, wait for it, Fight Bananas podcast. How's everyone doing out there? Packed show, like always. Welcome back. The week, we're going to go really strong. Multiple events. Bellator 250. Can't wait for that one. Actually, a couple of absolute studs are on that card. Of course, UFC on Halloween. What is better? We're going to give away some candy to the kids and watch some fights. Anderson Silva's farewell. How insane is that Habib Nurmagomedov and Anderson Silva retires a week away from each other? Two all-time GOATs. Oh, mentioning GOATs, that is on everyone's tip of the tongues here in the MMA world. Everyone's got their GOAT top 5 lists, all of that, and I'm about to give you mine and have a little bit of fun with it. Right after this, guys, Danny Sabatello coming on the podcast. Absolutely one of our favorites. Can't wait. Dana White Contender Series fight coming up. We're going to talk to Danny Sabatello in a couple minutes. Here we go. Like I said, on every goddamn show I've been seeing here is all the GOAT talks. Congratulations, Habib Nurmagomedov. We're not going to go all in. We had a UFC 254 recap show. We're just, we're moving on, onward and upward. An unbelievable career. Big ups to Habib. So here is my top 5 GOATs. Number 5, Amanda Nunes. Love her. 2-weight class champ. The name she has went through, she's, you can think of all-time female GOATs. Maybe one of the best ever. Cyborg. Oh, yeah, she beat her. Oh, have to put in Ronda Rousey. Oh, she beat her too. Maybe one of the best alive today, Valentina. Oh, yeah, she's beat her twice. Multiple weight classes. She's starting to go through new fighters like our girl Felicia Spencer, GDR. Absolute beast. Congratulations, newly minted mother, Amanda Nunes. That's number 5. Number 4, Habib Nurmagomedov. I know you guys, it's so crazy that I seem like people, I said this to someone, they're like, really, that low? Oh, dude, you're a hater. A hater? I have him as the 4th greatest mixed martial artist of all time. He's the greatest lightweight ever. Like, of any class. I have him above Demetrius Johnson, Dominic Cruz, Uriah Faber, any of those, bantam, feather, Max Holloway. Habib is better. Habib is the greatest lightweight fighter in the history of the sport. And I'm going to get into a little debate because this is where it happens. This is where people are going to at me. That's what the kids say in the Twitter game. My number 3 GOAT is Israel Adesanya. Yeah, Izzy. I have him above Anderson Silva. Above Chuck Liddell. Israel's number 3. And let's get right into it before I go 2 and 1. I've been hearing all this about you can't really put Izzy on this list because he hasn't done it long enough. To me, that's madness. You can see crazy GOAT, status early. And at the highest highs, that's what I'm into. To me, I watch him, and I think at the highest highs, there's no one I've ever seen better do it inside that octagon. Then, the second thing I hear is that you can't call him a GOAT. He's fighting. He's still in his career. Who's the greatest golfer ever? Oh, Tiger Woods. He's golfing this weekend. Who's the greatest football player ever? Oh, Tom Brady. His team is one of the best teams in the league today. They might be a Super Bowl favorite coming out of the NFC. LeBron James just won a title. There's debate if he's the GOAT. So that argument out the window. He can just add to the legacy or even move up the rankings with what he does going forward. But right now, if the man walks away, to me, he's the third greatest mixed martial artist of all time. And then real quick, back to Habib and Izzy, because I know this is where it's going to, the debate will happen. And I did the research. Habib Nurmagomedov, 13-0 under the UFC banner. Izzy, 9-0. Is that really that big of a difference? That big of a difference? Four fights? And Habib Nurmagomedov, guys, I heard all the people tell me that he was the underdog this weekend. A lot of people were picking up Gaethje straight up. And now 4 days later, he's the greatest of all time ahead of Izzy? My last argument is this. I've heard this 3-fight run was the greatest 3-fight run in the history of the sport. God, it's a great one. What Habib Nurmagomedov just done to Justin Gaethje, second-round submission, Dustin the Diamond Poirier, second-round submission, and Conor the Notorious McGregor, third-round submission. Unbelievable. But when Nurmagomedov fought him, you add their wins and losses. Gaethje 22-2, Dustin 25-5, Conor 21-3, 68-10. That winning percentage is 87.2. Phenomenal. Bananas, they might say. Israel Adesanya. Oh, what did he do in his last three? His championship and his title defenses. What did he do? Okay, so he just defeated Paulo Costa. Okay, 13-0. Yoel Romero, 23-4. No one wanted to fight him. Okay. And Bobby Knuckles, one of the greatest top 5 easy middleweight of all time, when he fought him, 20-4. Add that up, guys. Put that in your iPhone. 56-8, the winning percentage of 87.5. Higher than Habib's greatest 3-fight run ever. I'm spitting fire and facts today, boys. Israel Adesanya is my number 3 GOAT of all time. We're going to keep moving down this train. Number 2, George St. Pierre. So much respect for GSP. That's when my first early days of watching George is when he was a contender. Trying to move up the welterweight rankings. Him getting on his knees, asking Dana White for the fight. His rivalry with Matt Hughes and BJ Penn. And then one thing I give so much brownie points to GSP, he stood on that mountain for so long in the welterweight division. It felt like it was 2 runs. You know what I mean? He had all those title defenses, so many guys, Thiago Alves, Carlos Condit, Nick Diaz, Johnny Hendricks. I can't think of the guy with the jab. Who did he jab? He beat Jake Shields in a big fight. Man. Guys, yell at me real quick or at me. Who's the guy that he beat? Yellow Afro? Okay. But that's and then he came back and to win the middleweight championship of the world against Michael Bisping, who's an underrated all-timer as well. So big ups to GSP. Number 2, my number 1 guy, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about outside the octagon. Inside that octagon, that cage, his 15 title wins, John Jones. Come on. There's no one better. Light heavyweight, went through Murderer's Row. He's beaten 14. Going to be 14 Hall of Famers when it's all said and done. One of not the greatest pound-for-pound fighter I have ever seen in my life. Take everything else out, look inside the cage, and watch what he's done. And now, if he moves up to heavyweight, and if he does something spectacular against Stipe or Francis or Bolt or Lesnar, shit's going to get real. He is going to be pretty soon unattainable. And that's why I think if that Izzy and Jones fight happens, the GOAT status is on the line. GSP and Habib, we could have had 2 of the 4 GOATs there. So there you go. My list, number 5, Amanda Nunes. 4, Habib Nurmagomedov. 3, Israel Adesanya. 2, GSP. 1, Mr. John Jones. That is my top 5. Guys, this is a Fight Bananas podcast. They're sponsored by Rude Venice on the IG. Give them much love. Rude Venice. They got some sick hoodies. It's getting fall time. Give them love. All right, Danny Sabatello is going to come on. But my last thing, real quick. If you go on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and you do all those ats, and you do like the stories and all that, you do the GIF, the GIF for the older folks, for the young folks, the GIF. Put in Fight Bananas. Put in Fight Bananas. Man, we got giddy as hell. We saw it over the weekend. Fight Bananas. UFC Fight Pass doing some big things in the future. And now we officially have a GIF. Use it once. Use it often. Man, beyond blessed. Here we go, guys. Let's talk with Danny Sabatello. All right, guys, here we go back on the Fight Bananas podcast. Our main man, Danny Sabatello. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing awesome, man. How you doing?
Man, we're doing great, man. We're so blessed. MMA's on fire right now. UFC's on fire. And, man, you have been one of our favorites. You have been one of our prospects to watch over the last year, 14, 18 months. Not no more. The big show has called. What's the fight news, my man?
Yeah, so the big news is Tuesday, November 10th, I'll be fighting on Dana White's Contender series for a UFC contract.
Man, gosh, I love that. That show over the last, I would guess, 2 years now is just like, it took another level. There's not... To me, like, the tough was, good and all, but, like, for me, the Dana White Contender Series has surpassed what tough used to be. Laura Sanko's killing it. It's on Tuesday night, yep. ESPN. Right? Like, how pumped are you just to be kind of underneath that banner?
Dude, I'm so excited because, I kind of had a feeling this was going to be the route that I would take. But like you said, I feel like Dana White's Contender Series is just getting more and more viewerships because the fights are also epic as well. I mean, I feel like the Dana White's Contender Series fights are just as good as the normal UFC fights. Because you got guys in there that are just dogs, and they're really fighting for the rest of their life's career. So, yeah, I mean, I'm ecstatic about it. I'm ready, and I have 2 more weeks, and I just can't wait to get it done.
I can't wait for you, man. The analogy I keep on using for the Contender Series, and if you're a football guy, I think it's perfect. To me, it's the Super Bowl and the NFL Draft in one show. It's the biggest fight of your life, but then you could also get drafted to the Denver Broncos or to the UFC that night. It's incredible. There's nothing like it. And also being on Tuesday night, everyone watches it. Saturday night. And, man, I'm married. I got the kids. Most of the Saturdays I'm watching all, but the prelims, it's a big day, big show. UFC just happened during the day. That's another subject we'll get into later. But on Tuesday nights, man, there's nothing on TV. It is awesome for an MMA fan.
Yeah, it is. It's a great spotlight for not just me, but all the other fighters that are going to be on that card. And I do like to think that everybody is there to put on a show. And you say, I want to put on a show for fans, but the bottom line is you want to put on a show so you get signed. And,
right.
Right now, I'm not thinking about putting on a show, but anybody except for Dana White, because I know it doesn't just take a win to get signed, but you kind of also have to be exciting. So I'm just going to go out there and kind of be electric.
Right. Well, you are definitely an exciting fighter, Danny. And not even, I think another word is sometimes dominant. Sometimes it's not even exciting, but if you just, ground and pound or maul or whatever it is, or if you get a sick submission, sometimes, to some of the fans, which that's another question we'll get into later. But I just think a win and most of the time move on, especially with you. You have such a good, I love your lineup, 8-1, being on Titan FC, a lot of your videos on UFC Fight Pass. I think that's an extra added bonus for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think that now that the sport has kind of transformed and got more popular, there's a lot more footage of fighters.
Right.
So I think, for fans, it's good. You can kind of do a little research on the fighter, kind of get to know the guy, and yeah, it's just overall good for MMA.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And then can you talk us through that you fought twice during this global pandemic? You fought twice, back-to-back months, literally almost in the heart of it, in the beat of the summer. How fortunate do you feel that you had those 2 fights and that propelled you to this moment right here?
Yeah, it's really awesome because you see these other sports that are kind of like struggling to get started, and MMA, no one really blinked, and especially down here in South Florida with Titan, they've been having a lot of cards, and a time like this with a pandemic like this, I always say this is kind of just meant for me. I thrive in in these kind of adversity situations. And honestly, it gets me a little bit more motivated when I know that there's people out there in life that are kind of like scared right now and people don't really want to step up. That's when I'm at my best. So I got some extra motivation for those 2 fights that were just bang, bang, and they both went my way, fortunate enough.
For sure. A lot of them have 8-1. Danny Sabatello, bantamweight, still one of the greatest Instagram handles in the game. Shock this world. Go follow my main man. I'm going to transition. You said Titan FC. Lex McMahon, I had a cool little thing on Lex. How sick is it that he's going to put his money where his mouth is? He's literally going to walk into the cage and be in the main event in a heavyweight fight. Just absurd, right?
Yeah, dude, he's a madman, but yeah. I love it. This sport is just revolved around psychopaths like that, where it's like that guy doesn't have any reason to be doing this other than he just wants to, which is just so badass. And you don't see that out of any promoters. I mean, everybody likes to see this. I'm pretty sure almost the entire world was shocked when he released that news, but I mean, that all props to the guy. I mean, ton of respect. I already respected him a ton before that, but even now it's hilarious, and I'm so excited for his fight.
For sure. And I love a leader, a boss, aka the promoter. He's doing, it's not like he can, the fighters can say, oh, he won't do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? He's literally doing it. He's putting his money where his mouth is. I respect Lex McMahon so much. Okay, let's get into training a little bit. How has training been? Was it a quick little, how long have you known about this news? And then with that, Danny, can you tell the people how different training has been pre, this madness of the COVID-19 and to now? Is training kind of getting back to normal now, or is it still a little bit weird?
Yeah, so I found out about this about like just a week ago. So
wow,
it's kind of like it's a short notice fight, but I signed with Iridium Sports Agency with Jason House probably like 4 months ago. I think it was after my last fight.
Right.
And he basically told me that something like this was going to happen. Be ready. It's going to be a short notice possibility. Maybe someone falls out in Abu Dhabi and I get the opportunity. But yeah, I knew something like this was going to happen. But it didn't really matter to me because I do my training twice a day, every day, no matter what. I think these fighters talk about fight camps where I don't really ever am out of fight camp. I'm always in fight camp. So yeah, even when the pandemic hit, it didn't really change too much. If anything, I actually thrived in my training because more people weren't allowed back in at American Top Team, my gym down here in South Florida. So that just meant that I got more focus from my coaches and, had to zero in on specific techniques with them. So I, honestly, if I'm sure there's only a couple people out there that have benefited from this, pandemic.
Right.
And I'm definitely, I feel like one of the people that have benefited from the pandemic. But it's, I always, from the start, saw this as an opportunity. When this hit, I saw this as an opportunity to get better, because I knew some people are either going to get worse or get better. Most people are going to get worse because they're not going to be training this hard. They're going to find an excuse, and I thrived off it and I got even better. So yeah, the training for this fight, I don't think it's any different than any other fight.
Okay.
I know the guy's a southpaw. He likes to stay on his feet. He also likes to go on the ground, kind of just an overall brawler.
Okay.
So training camp, not too much different than a normal training camp. And right now I'm just, sticking to what I do. And with 2 weeks left, it's just kind of weight management.
Right. And you said something I definitely want to hit on, and I think the top-end mixed martial artist knows exactly what you're talking about. It's not 2012 anymore. It's almost a year-round sport. You never know when you're going to get the call. You never know when you're going to, especially with you, you were one of the top prospects in all of MMA. You would never know when the UFC was going to call you on a week notice, 5 days notice, 2 day notice. It wouldn't be smart for you to be off weight, majorly off weight, or wouldn't be off or not training and doing this because still 27, 28 years old, you're leveling up each year. Like I couldn't imagine where you're going to be 2 or 3 years from now, Danny. Like you're going to be a whole nother monster. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
definitely, and also I think, when I tell people my schedule doesn't really change throughout the year, whether I have a fight or don't have a fight, people's reactions are usually like, oh man, what a grind. And honestly, the bottom line, I do this sport because I love it. People
Yeah.
think this is a grind that I'm always in the gym. Well, to tell you the truth, I'm in the gym because I want to be in the gym. I like the sport of MMA, and I love pushing myself, and this shit's fun to me. So it doesn't make sense to not be in the gym, whether I have a fight or not. It's not a grind to me. I don't look at it like that. Obviously sometimes you don't want to go to practice. You'd rather go to the beach or, you go out at night. But for the most part, I wake up and I can't wait to get back into the gym.
Right. Spitting fire, my man, Danny Sabatello. Talking about loving it and a ton of heart. Man, I had goosebumps at UFC 254. Main event, Habib Nurmagomedov gets the win, gets the second round submission. Cries right on the mat in front of the world, takes off his gloves, and retires from the sport. Just one of those iconic moments. Danny, did you see it? What did you think of it? And what do you think of Habib Nurmagomedov's legacy?
Yeah, that was a special moment in sports, and I think no matter what sport it is, that moment specifically will always be remembered.
Yeah.
But also not just with the moment, him crying in the middle of the cage and, everything with his dad, but also the performance he put on against Justin Gaethje. I don't think people realize how good Justin Gaethje is. And Khabib absolutely murked him. I was shocked. I had a feeling that Khabib was going to win. It's Khabib Nurmagomedov. You can't ever bet against the guy. But I did not think he was going to mop the floor and just absolutely murder Gaethje. I think the world of that guy, and I don't think he's the GOAT, but I think he's one of the GOATs.
Everything you said there, 100% agree. And I even kind of want to pull back the curtain a little bit because I respect your just mind for the game a little bit. People don't understand, how they always put up those damn boxes. It's like, oh, Gaethje on the ground or Habib on the ground, and they check off for Habib. And then they go striking. Oh, and they always check off for Gaethje. Yeah, maybe Gaethje's jab is better than Habib Nurmagomedov's, but no one really puts all of it together. There's leg kicks. There's the knees that Habib was throwing great. There was the pressure. There's something about also, too, is he has a goddamn concrete chin. Gaethje was hitting the chin, but Habib Nurmagomedov was just walking through. He has this little eagle punch he throws, and that damn pressure and just this pace that he puts on people. No one puts that into, that box. And I think that's one of the most underrated parts about his game for the last couple years. Everyone says, oh, Conor Striking's better than him and Dustin Striker better than him. I don't see it that way. The man's pressure and his ability to, of course, shoot at any moment, it messes with the top guy's, mind. And Habib is he's one of the greatest I've ever seen. Just a sick monster. He really is. Absolutely.
And you're totally right, because Justin Gaethje also has this, he's kind of known for having this pace and doesn't really get tired and is always slugging it out. Or honestly, I don't know if it's true or not, but in that first round, towards the end of the first round and even the second round, he looked a little tired. I think Khabib's pressure was just so crazy that he got the guy tired already. I mean, he mounted him in the second very quickly. He took him down and mounted him right away.
Yeah.
I think that pressure and that conditioning got to Gaethje.
For sure. And also, back to the mind part of it, hey, man, when I interview 10 fighters a week. When I interview other fighters, I feel a little bit, but when I'm about to call Danny Sabatello, man, I got butterflies going, I got goosebumps shaking, you know what I mean? I get all flustered. Maybe it's because of Gaethje knows how big the moment is, and he almost needed to get his second win, but he never did. And Habib, This isn't a moment. This is just literally a Saturday afternoon. This is just another day. He's such a grinder and such a trainer. I think it's one of the most overlooked parts about his game. But just to keep the train moving, UFC 256, in your weight class, bantamweight, they finally made that Yawn versus Sterling fight. I would love your 2 cents.
Yeah, I think Sterling's grappling is going to be too much for Yawn.
Yes.
I don't know how good Yawn is on the ground. But yeah, I think Sterling takes it. I'm fairly confident. I think Yawn is great, and Sterling is also great, but I just see Sterling being way too much for that Russian guy.
Yeah,
what about you?
I 100% agree. I said it right away as soon as the fight was announced. Also, too, back to kind of the mentality of it. I think Aljamain Sterling knows this is his one shot, too. Like, this is his one chance, his one opportunity. For some reason, this fight should have been booked 3, 4, 5 months ago, and it hasn't. And I think they were trying to see, who won and what's this, and sometimes that's the game, But I think Sterling knows this is his one shot, and I love a grappler. I'm a sucker for a grappler, especially long, lean.
Right.
I think Sterling's going to get it, and honestly, I think he's going to get it pretty quick. I really, really do. That's my 2 cents. One of the last things I want this weekend, it's Halloween, UFC. It's Anderson Silva, who he said this is his last fight, main event versus Uriah Hall. Years and years ago, coming from Tough, Uriah Hall was that they, quoted him as the Mike Tyson of UFC. He's never kind of lived up to those expectations. I would love your take. Uriah Hall, Anderson Silva, main event of the UFC on Halloween.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky one. But I'm going to go with my man Hall. I just think Silva is just too far out past his prime. Obviously in his prime, this is a completely different fight. But I think the guy is just a little too seasoned. Sometimes when you get to that age, your body just doesn't work how you want it to. And I think Hall is going to get this one. What about you?
This is we agreed way too much, and I'm on the fence, so I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go with it, and I'm a sucker, man. I grew up watching Anderson Silva, and I think he knows this is the last one. There's a little bit of, when he was losing to Brunson and he was losing to a couple others, right, he didn't know where the finish line was. Now he knows this is it. Throw out everything, every bullet that you got in that gun, let the chamber, cock, and just load it. Just go for it. I want him to be uber aggressive. And Uriah Hall always seems like he can't pull the trigger. You know what I mean? He's always been this little flustered in that moment. I don't know. So I'm gonna go out on the limb. I think he's even an underdog too. I'm gonna go with one of the greatest of all time, Anderson Silva.
Yeah, I do think it'll be fireworks though. Either way, it should be a great fight. I hope it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, me too. Talking about living up to the hype, that is Danny Sabatello, November 10th, ESPN Plus. I cannot wait. Dana White Contender Series. My man, we always appreciate you and your time. Floor is yours. Any kind of sponsors, plugs, anyone you want to thank? Platform's yours, my man.
Nope, just shout out to me for sticking to the course and let's get this shit done Tuesday, November 10th.
Absolutely. Danny Sabatello, Shock This World, Instagram. We'll talk to you real soon, my man.
All right. Thank you again.